There's a part on every Japanese bullet train that gets thrown away while it's still perfect. Not cracked, not worn, not failing. Perfect and still destroyed on a date decided years before anyone touched it. Every other machine on Earth runs until it breaks. This one runs on a countdown instead. And that's why nobody has died on it in 60 years. And the reason, Will? Let me say that again, slower, because I had to hear it twice myself. Somewhere inside JR Central's operations office, there's a spreadsheet. On that spreadsheet is a bullet train part. Next to it is a date. Not a warning light, not a sensor reading. A date set the day the part was installed, years before it will ever fail. When that date arrives, the part comes out. Whether it looks fine or not, whether it's been perfect every single day since installation or not. That's not a typo. Now think about how weird that is. Every other machine you own runs until something breaks. Your car, your washing machine, your phone. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's not a saying, that's basically an entire industry. Japan looked at that logic for its bullet trains and said no. And every single night, without exception, the entire Shinkansen network shuts down completely. Not for a few minutes, for roughly 6 hours every single night, across the whole system. No passenger trains run in that window, anywhere, on any line. That's not a delay. That's a decision made decades ago to build downtime into the design on purpose. During that window, a strange yellow train rolls along the same tracks the bullet trains use in daylight. No passengers, no public schedule. We'll come back to that train. It matters more than you'd think. For now, just hold on to this. 60 plus years, 10 billion passengers, trains running at 320 kilometers an hour, several minutes apart, all day, every day. And in that entire history, nobody has died from a Shinkansen crash or derailment. Not one person. That's the number everyone quotes online. In articles, in comment sections, arguing about which country's trains are actually the safest. What almost nobody explains is why. And the why starts with parts that get thrown away while they still work. Here's the part most videos skip, and it's the part that makes the rest make sense. The Shinkansen isn't safe because Japanese engineers are magic. It's safe because the entire system was built to remove human guessing wherever a guess could kill someone. Take the signaling. A normal train relies on a driver watching signals and reacting in time. Humans are slow, tired, distracted sometimes. That's just what we are. The Shinkansen uses something called automatic train control, ATC for short. It constantly reads the train's speed against what's allowed on that exact stretch of track. If the train is going even slightly too fast, the system brakes it automatically. The driver physically cannot override that specific safety call. Sit with that for a second. The single biggest cause of high-speed rail accidents worldwide is human error. Japan didn't train drivers to be better. It removed the human from that decision entirely. Trains run as close as 3 minutes apart during rush hour. On the busiest line on Earth, thousands of times a day. That only works if absolutely nothing is left to a guess. So, when I tell you a part gets replaced on a calendar instead of when it breaks, you should already feel where this is going. This isn't one clever policy sitting on top of the train. It's the same philosophy, applied to metal instead of signals. Same brain, different problem. And it goes deeper than just the trains themselves. Even the tracks have sensors buried along them, constantly checking for anything that shouldn't be there. A fallen branch, a shifted rail, anything a human eye might miss at 3 a.m. on a routine walkthrough. And once I understood that, one very specific evening in October of 2004 stopped looking like a coincidence. To me, anyway. We'll get there. So, here's the actual mechanism, and it's simpler than it sounds. Every material, steel, aluminum, the alloys inside a wheel axle, has something engineers call fatigue life. Metal doesn't just snap out of nowhere. It weakens through repeated stress, invisibly, cycle after cycle, until one day it fails. The terrifying part is that a part can look completely fine, right up until the moment it doesn't. So, instead of waiting for a crack to show up, which might already be too late, Japanese rail engineers calculate the maximum number of stress cycles a part can safely handle. Then they divide that number down hard, with a wide safety margin built in, and they replace the part before it ever gets anywhere near that limit. Not when it fails, not when an inspector spots something. On a schedule decided years in advance, based on math done before the train ever entered service. Wheel axles, pantograph carbon strips, the part that touches the overhead wire at 320 kilometers an hour, brake components. All of it lives on a countdown, not a warning system. This is called preventive maintenance. It's the exact opposite of the corrective maintenance most machines run on. Fix it after it breaks. Here's the analogy that finally made this click for me. Imagine changing your car's brake pads, not when they wear thin, but on a set date every time, even on the ones that still have plenty of life left in them. Wasteful, right? Except now imagine that car is carrying 1,300 people, going 320 kilometers an hour. Several times an hour, all day, every day. Suddenly, wasteful sounds like the only sane option on the table. You're probably thinking this must cost an absolute fortune. It does. That's the trade Japan made decades ago, on purpose, and never walked back. If you've ever assumed safe just meant well inspected, this is usually the moment people tell me they had to rewatch the last 30 seconds. If that just happened to you, you're not alone. Drop where it clicked for you below. If this is messing with your head the way it messed with mine, I did the same thing with why airplane parts get pulled mid-flight ready. That one's already up. Go watch it right after this. Anyway, here's where this exact policy actually got tested, for real. October 23rd, 2004. 6:56 in the evening. A Shinkansen is running through Niigata Prefecture at roughly 200 kilometers an hour. Underneath it, without warning, the ground itself moves. A magnitude 6.8 earthquake, the Chuetsu earthquake, hits directly beneath the line. This is the nightmare scenario for any high-speed rail system on the planet. A train at full speed, 0 seconds of notice, violent ground shaking mid-run. Here's what happened next. Seismic sensors along the track picked up the earthquake's first, faster-moving waves. The ones that arrive seconds before the destructive shaking does. That detection network is called Uridas, Japan's earthquake early warning system. It cut power to the line and triggered emergency braking automatically, before any human on board could have reacted. The train derailed. Read that again. The train actually derailed. 8 of its 10 cars left the tracks completely, and every single passenger survived. No fatalities, no serious injuries reported from the derailment itself. This is the biggest fact in this entire video, so let it sit for a second. An earthquake hit a bullet train running at full speed, and the safety net held anyway. Picture the actual scene for a second. Passengers sitting, some probably half asleep, the way you are on any evening commute. Then the entire train jolts sideways off its own rails at highway speed, and it comes to a stop. Not a fireball, not a pile of wreckage. A stop. Now here's the piece almost nobody connects to this. That train stayed intact enough to derail without breaking apart, structurally sound enough to protect everyone inside, because every stressed component on it had been living inside its calculated safety margin the entire time. It wasn't luck. It was scheduled, years before that earthquake ever happened. This is actually the video that sent me down this whole rabbit hole in the first place, the one on Japan's earthquake warning system, already up. But right now, watch what this same discipline looks like on a completely ordinary night, because that part is honestly just as wild. Remember that strange yellow train from the start of this video? It's real, and it has a nickname, Dr. Yellow. No passengers ever ride it. Its entire job is to run the same routes as regular Shinkansen trains at full speed, constantly measuring the condition of the rails, the overhead catenary wire, and the track geometry itself. Think of it as a rolling diagnostic lab, checking the exact infrastructure every calendar-based part depends on to work. And here's the twist I did not expect when I started digging into this. Dr. Yellow itself just got retired. JR Central pulled its unit from service in January 2025 after decades of running these secret inspection routes. Fans tracked its final run online, some of them crying at the station platform. For decades, spotting Dr. Yellow by accident was considered a small piece of good luck among regular commuters. That's how normal it had become, woven into daily life instead of hidden away. It wasn't retired because it failed. It was retired because JR Central had already planned newer trains, nicknamed Dr. S, with the same inspection tools built directly into regular passenger service instead. Even the train whose entire job was watching for wear got swapped out on a plane, not a breakdown. That's the same philosophy, one more layer deeper than I expected it to go. Then, once the 6-hour nightly shutdown begins, maintenance crews take over the tracks and trains completely, grinding down tiny rail irregularities before they become real ones, swapping components that hit their date that day, testing systems that won't be touched again for months. Every single night, on every single line, whether anything looks wrong or not. And there's a smaller, equally telling detail that fits the exact same pattern. At major stations, cleaning crews turn around an entire 16-car train in about 7 minutes flat. Every seat, every tray table, every window. It looks almost theatrical, timed to the second, like a pit crew. It's the same philosophy as the parts calendar, just visible instead of hidden underground at 3 a.m. Nothing waits to be needed. Everything runs on a plan built before the problem exists. So, here's what I keep coming back to. Every other industry treats maintenance as a cost you delay for as long as you possibly can. Japan treated it as the actual product being sold. The bullet train isn't a train with good safety features bolted onto it afterward. The train and the maintenance calendar are the same design, built together from day one. That's a completely different way of thinking about risk. It's not, how do we react well when something breaks? It's, how do we make sure nothing is ever old enough to break in the first place? And once you see that pattern here, you start noticing where it's missing everywhere else. Bridges that only get inspected after cracks are already visible from the ground. Elevators serviced on complaints instead of cycles. Software patched after the breach instead of before it. Almost everywhere, we wait for the crack. One system on one island decided decades ago that waiting was the actual risk. Not the cost of replacing something early, the cost of finding out too late. Most systems only learn that lesson after something goes wrong in public. Japan built its entire bullet train network around learning it in advance, on paper, before a single train ever left the station. There's a second half to this story I didn't get into here. The 7 minutes it takes to turn around an entire bullet train between arrivals. It's just as hard to believe as this was. It's already up. It's the next thing I'd watch. 60 years, 10 billion passengers, and the entire record rests on parts that were retired before they ever got the chance to fail.